great performance.
That is so cute.
I actually bring it 7 years ago from China. I just sometimes have it in this pocket, like in separate places.
That's awesome. Can I give me a hug?
Sure. Yeah. And he is actually like really famous in China. He's a judge, so he's kind of symbol of like to deal with all the injustice. So it's kind of like the people to have the justice. So,
That is so cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad to take your shit.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm glad you can. Yeah, it's like not that busy.
Yeah. All good. All good.
Thank you so much.
After that first day, it's really died down. It's really just like the occasional play. If somebody needs directness. But here it is. Yeah. I'll enjoy the rest of the evening.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the AATE annual meeting. My name is Jonathan Jones, and I am the board chair for the American Alliance for Theater and Education. And in that role, it is my responsibility, I suppose, to MC this event. And for 2 years, I will be serving as the board chair, and this is sort of arriving at the end of my first year. That I am the board chair for 2 years. That does mean that I get to kind of be deeply involved in 2 of our national conferences. And I do want to acknowledge before we begin that 126 miles from here in South Carolina, there is a small town called Jameson. Sometimes we talk about small towns like they're a one-stoplight town. There is no stoplight in Jameson, South Carolina. And up until 70 years ago, my family was picking cotton in that town. And now here I am standing in front of you in South Carolina as the board chair for this organization. So thank you for being here. What we're going to do today, we're going to have some updates from the various committees that we have in AATE, and we'll talk about some new business. Part of the work that we do, as you know, as a volunteer organization, is to invite all of you, perhaps even to remind all of you, that as participants in this organization, it is up to all of us to make all of these things happen. And so if you're curious, interested, invested in any of the things that we're doing, we invite you to participate at any level that you feel is appropriate for you. And if part of that is just getting to know more about what we do, each month the board for this organization gathers online. Even if you wanted to just attend one of those board meetings just as an observer to get a sense of the kind of work that we do, we would welcome you. So just reach out to myself or to Alexis or any of the board members and let us know if you're interested in that. Okay? The first thing that we'll do, though, is to start with a land acknowledgement. Dakota?
Hi, everybody. I'm Dakota, one of the co-chairs. I'm going to go for this land acknowledgement. The American Alliance for Theater and Education respectfully acknowledges the many indigenous peoples who once made South Carolina their home. They were forcibly expelled over a 200-year period from the 1600s to the 1800s under the policies of settler colonialism, erasing indigenous communities, cultures, and identities, a legacy that continues today. And I'm going to do what Beth, my other co-chair, did the other day, so when we get to the tribes, we'll say them together. The city known today as Greenville is the ancestral home of the Muskogee, Catawba, and Cherokee peoples. We acknowledge and pay respects to the traditional custodians of this land. We proudly recognize that they and other indigenous peoples as America's first and most enduring artists, educators, storytellers, and creators of culture. Their profound connection to country, waterways, and sky continues to inspire all culture and our work this weekend. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Hello, it's me, Joel Jason Rodriguez. I'm the past chair of AATE. I'm going to be with you one more year this coming year. So, real quick, we're going to go over the meeting agreements that we have. I think maybe some of y'all heard these throughout the workshops, but first one is listen more than you speak. Be aware of your power and privilege and how to use it. Words matter, people. Yes, we know that for sure. Enter as a learner. Lead with inquiry and phrase. Thoughts, ask questions as opposed to judgments. Focus on action rather than adjectives. Speak from your own experience. Don't assume an identity and do not ask individuals to speak for their perceived social group. Assume goodwill, but remember intent does not equal impact. Be accountable to how your words, your actions are received. You're encouraged to find satisfaction in the takeaways of each conference session. And most importantly, practice self-care and community care. a successful conference looks different for everyone. Listen to learn, not respond. Nobody knows everything, but together we know a lot. Let's say that again. Nobody knows everything, but together we know a lot. Listen to the thoughts, perspectives, and knowledge of others without judgment. And then also, let's take a moment. We had two of some very close AAT family members move on and have their homecoming. So if we can do a moment to Dr. Janet Rubin, our AAT president from 2003 to 2005, and also to Dr. Don Doyle. And this morning we celebrated the new person that is now part of the Don Doyle Fellowship family. So we will just give a moment of silence, bring them into our hearts, call them into the space, and just say thank you and we love you. You're always with us. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Jason. For the executive committee of AAT, which is constituted by myself, the past chair, the chair-elect, our secretary, and our treasurer, as well as our executive director, the things that we've been having conversations about for work that we need to do with the organization are in part grounded in our strategic plan. And so in 2025, in terms of anti-racism and equity work, the work is meant to be examining organizational structure through an anti-bias and anti-racism lens. And looking forward for 2026, we'll start implementation of organizational changes that were recommended by the board, the engage members in sustained dialogues regarding anti-racism and anti-bias topics, examine the use of language with an anti-bias and anti-racism lens, and invest and nurture current and future global majority leaders. If you wanted to have a look at the strategic plan, that QR code will take you to it. It's accessible on the AAT website at all times. In addition to that work, also, we have the finance work that we're meant to be doing, part of which is responsible stewardship. So this year, focusing our efforts to move the organization to operating entirely in the black, which Alexis will talk about shortly. And as we move into 2026, the board is leading a campaign to rebuild our savings, which is the President's Fund. That we're meant to diversify our resources, maintaining multiple revenue streams to include year-round income and contributions, which we've done through the expansion of our programming throughout the year. And for 2026, the board is now setting and facilitating financial support for AAT's programmatic and organizational goals. Just as focused allocation of resources, AAT will position our budget as a moral document. The last part of the strategic plan is that we're working on member support. So in 2025, we surveyed the membership about programming, organizational benefits, and possibilities to align programming in response to the needs of our members. And through this year, we're developing a regional approach to our in-person programming to raise awareness of AAT's network opportunities and membership resources. And we'll talk more about that later in the meeting. Next, though, we'll have a review of our programming, and I invite Alexis Druitt, our executive director, to join us.
Thank you, everybody. So this is just an overview of what we've done in the last year since we had conference in Cleveland. So, conference 2026, well, we're presently doing that and having a wonderful time. So, yay! Leaders of Color Institute, which has been around for a couple of years. We did a couple more in-person ones in New York this last fall, Illinois, and Arizona, most recently in May. Amplify and Ignite, which is our symposium series, we did one in New York, as well as in the fall we had done the one in Utah. Additionally, we added to our programming this past year by creating a writers' retreat for a small group of people. We went to upstate New York, it's now outside the city, and spent 3 wonderful days being together, being apart. It was a choose your own adventure, and you're more about that when somebody who actually participated. And our mentor program, which is ongoing. So we have the one here on the conference, but we have one that goes throughout the year,
symposia that we're doing a couple times a year. So this year we're only going to have one Amplify and Ignite event, and it's going to be happening the second weekend of October in Denver, hosted by our longtime member Alex Gates at the Kent Denver School. So currently proposals for that symposia are open and being accepted until August 14th. Alex has promised and committed to reading and reviewing all of those proposals in a very quick timeline, such that we'll be able to let people know if they are invited to present, so that you'll be able to join us. Besides presenting at the symposium, of course, folks could just come and attend and participate. And so if you're interested in doing that, registration is open now. In addition to that Amplify and Ignite event, we also have another event that we're going to be doing back here in South Carolina, but Columbia is here. All right. So Peter Duffy is welcoming us to his institution, and Peter can tell us about it.
Hello. I know we were just in South Carolina, but there's just so much going on. I have to come back. And we're going to be doing this the last weekend in January at the University of South Carolina. We have some really world-class institutions. We have the Anne Frank Center. That was the Anne Frank Center in New York, but is now at Housing University. With just some incredible Holocaust educators. So we're going to get a chance to work with them. We have a national center on civil rights and civil rights education. That's really world class. We're going to get a chance to work with them, look at their archives, and then we also have a really wonderful museum of education. So the idea is that everybody's going to come. We're going to do some really cool workshops, but you're not going to come with a presentation prepared. The problem is it's anti-conference. You're going to show up. You're going to engage with these really amazing institutions that we have at the university. Then we're going to think about local issues that you have in your world and what skills and supplies, resources can you draw from in order to amplify and ignite those issues in your local community. And so we're going to be talking about archives, we're going to be talking about ethical practice, we're going to be talking about representation, and what all this means in the rising context. Then you have some time to come up with your own plan, and at the end of our time together, you're going to have a chance to present your plan. So you're going to present, you'll have an abstract, but it'll just be in reverse. You will leave with the abstract. It'll be on the web page. You can demonstrate to the university, look, I've done the thing. They will be happy because that's something that you will be able to get, and hopefully some school district support, because we'll have done a thing. So it's an experiment, and we'll see how it goes. And also, I just think it's going to be better to show up and just be present for a couple of days, and not have to be thinking about, oh my God, my session's in 3 days, and then that's all you're thinking about. So, and then you get a chance to collaborate if you want to, do it by yourself. And the university is really stubborn, and it'll be, winter. So, the snow, come hang out. You let out. Oh, all right, thanks so much.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, the Create Retreat. I invite Elizabeth Dunruys to share with us.
Hello, thank you. So I got to go last year to the Create Retreat, and it was really a beautiful experience. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of time to work on our own projects, and we had some time in the community to brainstorm and strategize. And I was very delighted as a vegetarian to tell you that the food was amazing and abundant. I think that was one of the biggest conversation topics. There it is. We go to the previous slide. Thank you. So hopefully you will be able to find your way there. You can come with a project that you want to work on. You can come with collaborators that you want to work with. Or you can come and see what happens and be inspired by the space and the people and the time and see what you can generate. So here are the details. If you have any questions or need some support, I know that all of us who went before would be happy to talk with you, and Alexis would be happy to meet with you. So we hope that you will join us for the next one.
So graduate credit was something else that we added for the first time last year because we have these massive archives from all of the virtual learning that we're doing during the pandemic and after even. So we have had people, so in order to do that, it's 12 hours of the virtual learning from our library, and then you submit your information to Trinity University where they will provide you a credit at $125. For people who are members that access our archives, it is free. For anybody else who just wants to access our archives, it is $50. Currently, we've had 2 people registered for this graduate credit program, and 1 person has actually completed their project, so we're very excited. Additionally, we also in tandem started the Teaching Artist Certificate. Similar idea, but it's actually a 2-year program. It's on a cycle. These dates just kind of reflect an idea of how the timeline would work, but it is kind of starts when you start and ends 2 years after you go through the process. Right now we have 15 people who have registered to do this or are working through it, and we've actually had 2 people who have completed it since we've launched this. And there they are, Melissa Smith, Joe Griffith, and me on here.
I would like to introduce to you, if you haven't met them before, Asha John and Fabian Rodriguez, our co-chairs for the 2027 National Conference.
In 2027 AT will be held in New York City, one of the biggest metropolises in the world.
New York City is a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and people. And even though we are siloed in some ways in our neighborhoods, like in all cases, we have one goal, and that is community and to come together as one. Just look at the unity and community from past tragedies to our current wave of mix and vibe. And with that in mind, as artists and educators, we all emulate the same values of community and collective responsibility. So without further ado, we present the AATE 2027 conference titled, Unique Bodies, Unique Voices, Divided but Still One.
So we're looking forward to seeing you all in New York City, and if people are interested in joining a committee or getting involved in this, feel free to see one of us, and then we will, as we begin the planning process, we will pull you in and get you get started on that.
Thank you. Awesome. Fabian. All right. As you know, our organization is kind of made up of and constituted by various networks and special interest groups. So obviously, at the conference this weekend, we've had the opportunity for each of our networks to have a meeting and gather. Currently, the only active special interest group at the moment is for mental health and wellness. So there were a number of online events that they had during this year. And for other folks, network-wise, much of what we've done has been just at the meetings here at conference. And so our hope and intention is that in the coming year, there will be opportunities for folks to gather, whether that's virtually or any of the in-person events that we have coming forward. So as I mentioned earlier, that in order for all of the things that we do to happen, we need you. So if you were in one of the network meetings this weekend and there was conversation about, oh, wouldn't it be great if we got together 4 times a year? Wonderful. You're going to write to myself, you're going to write to Alexis, you're going to tell us when that's happening, and we'll be happy to publicize that to the people. That's how these things happen. Thank you, Stephen. All right, so that's there. Anti-race, anti-oppression, equity, and justice. I invite Morgan Evans to join us.
Thank you so much. I'm Morgan. I'm an AATE board member. So with anti-racism, anti-oppression, Each event was adapted to the needs and challenges of each of these communities. So we work really hard to make sure that we're listening and that it's reflected back to the people who come and participate. So looking back on our success, we really do want to embed the ethos of AAEJ within the organization, all that we do and how we support all of you. So with that being said, there's a lot happening right now in our country, within ourselves, and we want to know how we can support you and advocate for all of you. So with that being said, we are resetting in AAEJ and what the role of the committee should be and how we can best do that and support all of you. And so if anyone is interested in that, we do need to hear from you. We do need to hear what it is that you need. And we definitely want to collaborate on that together. So if you see any board members around, please reach out, and I'm sure we'll set up communication shortly after this, I would imagine. But we would love to just hear from you and really work on this together.
David Dale will speak to us about research and scholarship, but more specifically about
Youth Theater Journal. Hello. Are you reading it? First of all, you all have full access to Youth Theater Journal. You should be reading it. This is all the cutting edge research and innovation and new plays happening in our field. I'm the co-editor temporarily. I'm in my 5th year of a 3-year term. So we are looking for another co-editor of Youth Theater Journal. Currently working with Victoria Rose, who's awesome. She's going to stay on. Xin Wei is our managing editor. I'm going to be cycling off and would love to talk to anybody here who might be interested or might know somebody interested in co-editing. Our next deadline is September 1st. If you were working on something that you presented this weekend, if you were in a session and you saw somebody's work that you thought was excellent and you wanted to write about somebody else's work, please submit manuscripts. If you're interested in being a peer reviewer of reading manuscripts and giving feedback, please reach out to us. We're always looking for peer reviewers with expertise in certain areas. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dale. This QR code would take you to information about the co-lead editor role, and so if you're interested in that, you'll find that information there. It's also accessible through the AATE website. Communications. Michael. Avia. There you are. Oh, no. You're still here. You're still with us. Hi, I'm Michael, board member. We want to just solicit a call for submissions for Elevate. Elevate is in a bit of transition right now. We are welcoming a new editor coming into this role. I don't know if they are here. Yeah. But in the meantime, if you're not familiar, Elevate is a publication for every AATE member, as well as those non-members working in the field. And the content is really driven by the membership, so we rely on you to provide articles, manuscripts, we publish material that can be used in the classroom, on the stage, academic environment, that documents, advances, and challenges the fields. And on this slide, you can see what are we looking for. We're looking for case studies, we're looking for reflections, lesson plans, photo essays, interviews, opinions, and editorials. So if you're interested, please see me, please see Jonathan, any of the board members, and we will guide you through that process and how to submit something for it. Thank you so much. All right, and now, finance. Alexis Truitt.
All right, so our finances for this year. So some of the highlights and notable events are, it hasn't been our strongest programming year. We've been doing stuff nonstop since last year. We have been very honored and lucky to get some grants. Strongest position to recover, honestly, right now, leading into next year is this moment since 2020, 2022. So looking forward, we're going to continue to work to reduce resource-related barriers for participation, as we have with this conference, which is really exciting. Ensure adequate resources for people who are doing the work, and examining the resource-related practices that no longer serve or actively harm the successful completion of these priorities. And there we go. So this is what our current first two quarters of this year look like. As you can see, the largest piece of the pie is this conference. Programming is also our other largest piece of revenue. This is my salary. I am the only employee of this organization. For those who don't know it, but I do have some amazing contractors such as Damien and Abby and Dakota and Olivia, who I work with as well as our grants.
And you do an amazing job.
I appreciate it. So that reflects where our expenses and income are at the moment. And then just a quick look back at 2025. Our net gain is actually $55,000, which is something we actually haven't seen in a couple of years. So it's very exciting to see that we're in the block. And that's what I have. Oh, Phoebe.
Hi guys, it's me again. Just reminding you about the 50-50 raffle. Tonight we're going to do the drawing during the conference party. I know there's some questions if you could give cash, and unfortunately you can give cash as a donation. But to be a part of the raffle, you have to do it through Rally Up because that's how the winner is selected, randomly generated from everyone that has submitted their, gives the buys the tickets. Yeah, so you can scan this or you can text ECHO to 33100. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Great. Donation, that's there as well. Calling backup Alexis to do the ATE membership.
Thank you. So currently our membership is around 650, which also is an increase since COVID, where we were kind of in the mid to low 500s. So we definitely have seen a gain there. We still continue having tiered membership, which is pay what feels best for you. For individual members, starting at $100. This past year, we've added 2 new levels of membership. In January, we did this, where we brought the student price back, but this time at $25. So please, all students, don't hesitate to become a member. Also, we have a university all-included membership at $1,500. When we say all-included, we mean it. So you can register as many people as members underneath that $1,500 if you have the school support to do that. Let me know if you have any questions.
Joel Jason Rodriguez.
Hello, hello. So as past chair, I am involved with the election committee, and then also in terms of the elections that happen here with the AETE. This May, we did put an announcement out there that, hey, we have 3 positions that are open for board. And so the nominations were open, they were available, and no one submitted a nomination. So, and it's okay, that happens, because then, again, like, people are, y'all, this has been a crazy year for everybody. Let's just be honest. We know what's been going on, we know life is happening. That in 2027, there will be 4 positions that are going to be open. Okay, so next spring, if you're interested in becoming a part of the board, if you're interested in leadership in any capacity, just know that in spring 2027, there will be 4 board positions that will be available and open. And so that is your moment to, again, remember, this is a volunteer board, this is a volunteer organization. And so, in terms of, like, if you feel that need, that you know that there is a call that you can answer, do so, step up. And again, just as Jonathan has mentioned, the board meetings are open to y'all as well. So if you want to get an idea of what we're doing, what's happening, what is the conversations that are occurring in the board meetings, that is your opportunity to come and check it out as well. So if you want to serve on the election committee or you would like to run for a board position next spring, feel free to reach out to me. I have the most easiest email that you can remember. It is just jason@aate.com. Say it with me.
Jason@aate.com.
Yes.
What were the 3 positions that were open?
The way that the board works now is that there are general board positions because as we go into the board, that is where we begin to see like where the balance fit and where the need is. And so it's not like in the past where we used to have, it's a communication board director position, it's a finance board board position. It is literally a general board member position that we all begin to step into. And from there, that's when we begin to fill out, begin to figure out what are the roles that would best fit in. Yes?
So the 3 members were cycling off, were they extended?
No.
Okay.
And the way that the board is right now, we're at like 17. So we were at 17, so it's a very large board at the moment. ever need to vote on anything, we affirm all those things. So, you know, again, like at the same time when we realized that no one had like submitted a nomination, it wasn't a moment of panic because we also know that our board was large. So it's not to say that it's not bad to have a small board or a large board, but it's like also acknowledging that because those three weren't there, it's still, we were able to do the work that we needed to do. Then again, like I said, like in terms of like, if you're wanting to be in the board, that board position is the board member position, because that leadership and what we need to do in there is basically based on what are the needs of the organization and where can we step in to fill that need. Any other questions? Yes? It's fine.
It would be very helpful if there is a board meeting, especially for those of us neurodivergent, that you send that as a calendar invite, because I would happily attend if I knew where it was on the calendar.
Okay, we can definitely do that. So, and even then, like even at the beginning of the new board year, we usually set the dates, and if there's any like random change that happens, which is very few and far between, we'll make the change, but we'll make sure to announce those as well so that everybody knows when those are occurring. Any other questions? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Jason. An announcement. So, ATE is one of the member organizations of something called the National Coalition for Arts Standards. And about 15 years ago, that coalition came together to create the national standards for the arts. And we are currently engaged in a process to revise the national standards for the arts. And I should tell you that the process of revising the standards was supposed to take 3 years. It has been 2 years, and we have 3 years yet to go. Part of what's happening in terms of this revision process is that we had to hire someone to be a project manager, which has happened. And then for each of the arts disciplines, there is going to be a lead for that art discipline. And then there are going to be at least 6, possibly more, we're deciding, members of the review team. Now, within all of the art forms, usually there is one organization who handles arts education in that area. Within theater, we have 2 organizations that we collaborate with. So it's AATE working in association with the Educational Theater Association, or EDTA. So for myself as representative from AATE on NCAS, and for Lisanne Schiffer Dickerson, who is the representative from EDTA, we are in agreement that in making sort of this separation from what happened starting in 2011, which was that each organization got an equal number of seats for theater. We are not thinking about it that way. Instead, we are thinking about however members and participants there will be in this review panel, it will be the best people in the field who are able to do it, regardless of whether they're members of either of our organizations. So information about this is going to go out to you in about a month's time. And what we'll be doing is accepting applications for both the theater lead and also the members of the review team at once. So when that happens, certainly if you feel like you're interested in doing it, respond. This QR code that's on the screen right now is just saying, are you interested in possibly doing this? Whether potentially serving as the theater lead, potentially serving as a reviewer, or you're just interested in more information. Obviously, many emails come to your inbox from AATE, and sometimes things get missed. And so if you're specifically interested in this, then I want to reach out to you directly to say, okay, it's happening right now. If you're applying, do the thing. Respond. Thank you. Then, call for committee services. God. Okay. Sorry. So within the organization that we have a variety of committees, which are all listed there at the bottom of the screen. We have an awards committee, AAEJ, governance, research and scholarship, communications, finance, programming, membership, and elections. If you're interested in serving on one of these committees, you need to reach out to us and let us know that. But in addition to these committees, obviously we have a lot of programming that's happening throughout the year. So on the wall over there, that divider, there are 4 posters that are hanging. One of them, it says Symposium on the top. The other says TIAS, so that's Theater in Our Schools.
and the third says LOCI. Here's the thing. You may have been hearing about the programming that we did this year, and it might have occurred to you, why do they keep doing things in New York? It's where I am. Sorry. Chicago. Okay. Phoenix. It's because someone in the membership stood up and said, "Come to my home, please." So if you're thinking, why don't they do things in your neck of the woods? It's because you haven't invited us. So if you are interested in potentially hosting a symposium, we need to know that. So please put your name and email address on the symposium poster. Or maybe you're not ready to commit to hosting one, but you'd like to have more of a conversation. Please identify yourself in that way. TIAS, Theater in Our Schools. Prior to COVID, we used to have these one-day professional development activities that happened all across the country. And COVID happened, and then we moved them online, and now nobody comes to our online events. Well, we'd like to have them in person, but you have to host them if you'd like to do that. So that's what that's for. Leaders of Color Institute, same deal. Two folks were at our symposium in Utah last year, and they said, "Wouldn't it be great if y'all came down to Phoenix?" "Yeah, it'd be great." "Couldn't we do a Leaders of Color?" "Yeah, it'd be great. You're going to co-chair it. Here we go." And we had a fabulous, fabulous time in May. So that's what we need to have happen, and if you're interested in possibly doing that, name on the poster. And then the last one says anything else. In any other way that you might be interested in participating, that you can put your information there too. Stephen.
Jonathan, I'd like to point out that you are invoking one of the brand new schools of AATE, the Betsy Quinn Rule.
Please tell us, Stephen
The
Farber.
Betsy Quinn Rule is it's great. If you're going to make a suggestion, great, you do that. That is a tradition of this organization that I've lived by since I heard Betsy Quinn say it to our faces. That's how it gets done, folks. If you've got a suggestion, great, make it happen. And that's one of the most powerful things AAT does, is that Betsy Quinn Rule. You've got an idea, post it. To that end, Maryland TIAS is happening in March, and every AAT member can attend for free.
Thank you, Steve. In this notion, though, of hosting something, you wouldn't be doing it in isolation. We will work with you. We will make it happen. We have experience. So let us know. Okay? That's what's happening there. I'm not interested in that. We would like to thank our sponsors. So, Alexis.
Yes, I would love to thank our sponsors for sponsoring this conference: Curate, Dramatic Publishing, Emerson, Stories That Soar, NYU Steinhardt, Peter Glenville Foundation, Music Theater International, ABC Institute, and Half Wyndham Foundation. Half Wyndham Foundation is the reason that 29% of our participants are here under a grant. So, really appreciate that.
Thank you. We now would like to give some citations from the board. All right. Our first board citation is going to Elizabeth Dunn Ruiz as co-chair of the Leaders of Color Institute in New York and dedication and commitment to transforming young people through theater education, alongside Morgan Evans, co-chair of the same event. Efficiency is the mother of invention. All right. Our next citation is going to our co-chair of the Amplify and Ignite Artists Offstage Creative Work for a Changing World, which happens in Utah, and this is presented to Penny Haywood and Sam Burgess. Excellent. Okay, our next citation is going in recognition of outstanding service for our national conference co-chairs, which are going to Beth Watkins Brown, Dakota D'Amato, and Kathleen Penway. Thank you, Steve.
So, as I stated, I'm the only employee of this organization, and sometimes in life's for you. And I wasn't able to go for the first time ever in my 14 years to some events this year. And I just want to acknowledge Abby Sickle. And thank you, Abby, who stepped in for me when I was like, I don't know anything.
In addition to that, we also are acknowledging other service that we have from folks who are not present. So Brianna Fallon, who was one of our co-chairs of the Leaders of Color Institute in Phoenix, alongside Bonnie Lee and Giovanni Delgado. And in addition to that, we also would like to recognize and acknowledge the service of some of our board members. So here we have with us Michael Avila. Thank you so much. And to two folks who are not with us today, Sarah Completon Kidd, and also our board has mixed out, Chad Dyke, our treasurer, who also is not with us today. But they have provided great services for us, and we're very grateful. Okay. Our last acknowledgement was for our host of the Leaders of Color Institute in Chicago, which was Glenna Bear. And with that, if there are other questions, please let us know. Okay, we can have a little bit of dialogue here. We have a little bit of time left. Yep. Questions?
How was your day?
How is my day? My heart is so full. I am incredibly grateful to be here, so thank you for asking. Back room.
Can you or one of the others who have been involved in Leaders of Color Institute sort of talk a bit about what happens at the Institute?
What a great question, Ramon. Last week I was at ADTA with Alexis True. We gave a 75-minute presentation about what a Leaders of Color Institute event is. And so for most of those events, they're kind of day-long opportunities for folks in a regional area to come together and participate in some workshops, to hear a panel, to hear from a speaker. In theory, I think as they were outlined initially, the idea was that these events would kind of promote leadership amongst people of color. What we discovered was that it's not about developing new leaders. It's about inviting people into a space and letting them lead. So for a Leaders of Color Institute, it's not an exclusive audience necessarily of global majority members, but rather global majority folk and allies. But that all of the presentations are done by folks who are people of color. And whether it's their first time giving a presentation in some kind of conference-ish setting, or they've been seasoned and have been doing this for a long time, we have a range of folks who are speakers and presenters at the event. But really, it's just coming together globally that is trying to sort of center the experience and the potentiality of a new future for our field. And so when we did those events initially, they happened online. Now we have them happening in person. And as I say, it's not like we are thinking strategically we must have these in every region in the country. We would love to do that. But in order for that to happen, we need somebody to host and to sort of put that together locally. When the event happened in Phoenix, those folks reached out to us and said they were interested in doing an event. They wanted to have a call for proposals, and so that's what we did. And it worked out that I was the only person who was in attendance at the event who didn't present. And so we had it over 2 days. It was just fabulous to be in community with those folks. And many of the people who were part of that event are here at this conference because they wanted to reconnect and continue the conversation. So that's the hope. How are we going to reimagine our field? Is that we're going to do it brick by brick. And that's where it's happening. Thank you for asking. Tiffany.
I attended the
just want to say how wonderful it was what Quentin put together, and that it really is about what you need locally. We only had 2 presenters. One was Emily Lansana, who's a storyteller, and kind of ushered us through some of her process with young people. And then Emilio Robles from Indiana, I'm forgetting which school, but he did this kind of workshop that poured into us. Like, I thought I was going to support the young people, and I didn't realize that I was going to get so much about where am I right now. And then Quenna had several of her undergrads there as well. And so the intergenerationalness of it was also really amazing. So I also want to say you don't have to already be a leader, but for your undergrads to get to be in the room with leaders was just a really beautiful thing at the Chicago.
Thanks, Tim. Other questions? All right, as board chair, I officially announce this meeting as being adjourned. So as you said, if you're interested in volunteering at any of the things that, oh my God, there's people on the posters. Alexis, it happened. Okay, all right, and otherwise, we'll be in touch. Obviously, we've got events throughout the day, and we will see you at the awards ceremony